losing my voice a little bit, so I might
Oh my
sound
God,
croakier
same.
than usual.
I'm
Is this
still
the
hungover.
round 2, 3 colds? Are you both coldy or?
I think it must be like
I think it's hungover though. You slept with our friend Tom. Well, no, not like that. You slept over at our friend Tom's place. Well, at the weekend, and he was like, he's really dying of like flu or cold or whatever. He's been dead for a while.
Yeah, he was coughing every like coughing his lungs out every maybe like 5 minutes, to be honest. But like he was like, "Don't worry, guys, I'm not contagious. I've just got a really bad cough."
What made him think that?
Well, his doctors told him because he's had like a cold, coffee, flu-y thing on and off for like a month now. So he's just had a continuous bad cough for a while, and apparently he was. But this specific one, he was contagious on like Tuesday and Wednesday last week, and then he was over it, according to some person who told him that. I don't think he ever specified, but like we didn't really have a choice but to take his word for it and share his one room flat with him.
To be fair, I feel like you weren't really given any warning either. You just arrived, he was ill.
Yeah, he gave us like a day's warning, like the day before, like the morning of. He was like, "Oh, by the way, guys." So we could have cancelled last minute.
Bless him.
Yeah, we were down in London for the weekend, Ronan.
Yeah, how was it? Yeah, I remember you saying you were going to be down here.
It was really good. I need to remind myself what the fucking thing was called. I assume you're laughing about the fact that we had to carry Hannah home before the night out even started.
Oh right. Oh,
because
wow.
She went home. It wasn't alcohol related. It was like ankle related.
Yeah, she'd already like sprained her ankle like a couple of weeks ago, and then it was like pretty much almost bare. And then just before we're going basically to the bus stop to go to the club that we were going to, she just falls over. But this, basically re-sprains it, and like it was like she'll be fine. So I switched shoes with her because I was like, she's probably just drunk and like hyped up on emotion. But no, it was a serious problem. We got to one stop, like literally the first stop, and we were like, right, we're going out. And then suddenly Louis rushes out as like the doors are closing as well. And I'm so grateful that you did, because I would have got as lost because I was really, really drunk.
I mean, you did go the wrong way. So to give full context of the night is we were down for Sophie's birthday, and I think I mentioned this to you, and we were all dressing up as Sophie. Yes. So we were all in a little bit more kind of out there outfits than like people would normally wear.
Icon that she is.
We were all very iconic. Yeah, we all. I think we all. There was a lot of good spirit behind the costumes and stuff, but I think that may have led to. I don't know, was Hannah wearing different shoes than normal?
No,
it's just a weak ankle.
She does just have a weak ankle, but also those shoes didn't really have much support.
We'd done a whole day like walking. I think this probably added to it, is the fact that we'd done a whole day walking around London. And so Sophie very briefly applied to be like a London tour guide. And in order to apply for that role, she had to like learn her like spiel and stuff and have that ready to go. And then at the last minute, she was offered a different job, so she dropped it. But she has like that tour in her repertoire, just in the back of her mind. So when we met up we met at Covent Garden.
Yeah.
And then from there, we did a little bit of a wander around, like, you know, all the sites, Buckingham Palace, Big Ben, all the good stuff. And she just spieled that off. But obviously that's a lot of walking around. And then we all go back to Soph's. I'm surprised. Like, it was really funny because so Tom, who we were staying with, because of his cough and his cold and his splutter, he didn't end up coming out. He was like, you know, I'm going to be sensible. I'm going to keep it chill. And he left us. And then an hour and a half later, he gets a drunk group call where me and Flora and Hannah are desperately trying to call people and find out where the spare keys for the flat are, despite the fact they're in Flora's bag the whole time.
Literally.
But Tom's like, you guys left me an hour and a half ago. How has this spiraled out of control this quickly? But it was just one of those like prees that feels long, but like actually just smashing down gin as quickly as you can.
Was it really only that short of a time? Like, I had so much alcohol. Like, that is the most alcohol I've had in like a year. I'm surprised I wasn't on the floor.
I feel like the fact it was an ankle that like cut it short for Hannah is maybe a little less grand, but carries more dignity to it than somehow.
Then
Yeah.
just become a
then they're just
drunken,
completely
sprawling
messing it
mess.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, at like 10 o'clock at night or whatever it was. Walked to the bus stop. En route to the bus stop, Hannah twisted her ankle. Yeah, got onto the bus.
I know that feeling
She
as
was
well.
feeling a lot of pain. Had to get off
Oh.
immediately at the next stop. Flora helped her off, and then I'm just like looking at them hobbling away, and I'm like, I can't leave them by themselves.
I'm so glad that you thought that.
I hopped off the bus. I helped carry Hannah, and then Flora's like, "It's definitely this way. It's definitely this way." And we're like walking for like 8 minutes, and then goes, "I've taken us the wrong way."
No way.
It's like we're literally hobbling here. Like Hannah is like in pain with every step, and you've
I
made us
know,
walk in
I
the wrong
wasn't
direction.
I wasn't okay on any levels.
No.
What's amazing about the way that you told that is that there was like a split second there where you were watching them sort of hobbling along, and you're just like, "Do I though? I mean, I could just let them."
I like that no one else got off.
But that's the thing. Like no one else on the bus reacted, and I was just like, "It's like Flora, Flora didn't
man
ask
of
for help.
action,
They
Lily.
didn't mention it, but it was just like I can't. Yeah, it was just like a split second decision of like I think it was as well as there was that point of just like realizing like, oh, if this might be the end of the night here. We're just gonna have to look after Hannah. And it was just that kind of like, okay, here we go. But
I was
Snapping into
prepared.
action.
we got her back, got her settled, got some cold peas on her,
Whisper bars.
got some whisper bars, and then we managed to get back out again and managed to get
Back
to the
in.
club.
Yeah.
Although when I came back to the flat, I changed out of my Sophie outfit because I was like, "Oh, that's me done for the night."
I did think you changed, but then I was
did,
like,
yeah.
no. I was convinced that you didn't as well.
So
Yeah, no, I was not paying attention.
You got rid of the cowboy hat.
I was wearing denim jeans, and then I was wearing a sleeveless denim jacket.
Oh, it was denim on denim. What
It was
a
denim on
crime.
denim, and then it was a white cowboy hat. There had previously been a wig involved, but we opted not to go with that in the long run because the bouncers wouldn't have let me in because it just looked like I'm obviously in fancy dress, whereas everyone else was just kind of more subtly in like Sophie-esque
sure.
clothes. But I tried to recreate her, blonde hair, so I was going all the way.
You put 100% effort in. You put
My
100%.
outfit did flip-flop between when I first came out in it and I was wearing the denim sleeveless jacket. I was still wearing like some brown cords because I had not changed into my jeans, and I had like the skull cap that goes underneath the wig on, so I looked kind of bald. And my mates Joe and Yusuf just looked at me in fear, horror, and disgust, and said that I looked like a flaming homophobic racist from the deep south in the US. And then moments later, once I'd put the denim jeans on and the wig on and then the hat on, one of Sophie's flatmates was like, it's a full reversal, it's full flip. And one of Sophie's housemates was like, that's the gayest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, it's amazing how quickly you can change like from one extreme to the other. But just a few little subtle, it doesn't take much at all. But yeah, then when I came back, when we dropped Hannah off, I was like, well, if we're not going out, I don't want to be in this uncomfortable sleeveless jacket. Put a normal t-shirt on, and then it was a very snap decision to try and go out again. And
it was, yeah.
Just ended up going out in a white t-shirt. Unfortunately, everyone else was in glorious Sophie gear, but
we had a good
I think
time.
I got away with it. Yeah.
Good times.
Which leads to the whole reason I was mentioning the story is because the club we went to was a place.
Jago?
I think it was called like the Jago.
Jago. Oh, just butchering that pronunciation.
But it was a club in Dalston, which I know is quite a long way from you, Ronan.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's accessible though in the way that just everywhere, I guess, is pretty much accessible within London. I when you mentioned it, I feel like I kind of have seen the name somewhere, and I can't think where. But yes, I really want to go. Dalston's a really good area, actually. Sophie, I realize I need to stop doing this. Like something I've realized we do on the podcast is just mentioning loads of people.
Name
I'm sure.
drop. Yeah. We've done some heavy at the start of this episode. But
Sophie is in Sophie and Jack. So basically, two people we know from uni. One of them lives in Dalston now.
Oh, no way.
So we visited a couple of times, and it's just a really good area actually.
Sophie and Jack lives in Dalston.
Not Jack yet, although we're trying to get him down here. But yeah,
I mean,
moment
both the
Sophie does.
Sophies I know live in Dalston.
Oh man, yeah, it's clearly a place for
it's a
Sophies.
collective group. We'll all have to go to the Jago together.
I'm super keen. It's shout out the Jago. There we go. That's our first. We could so get promotion like payments or whatever it is that people get. For
No free promos here. Don't give out this information.
I mean, give us your money.
We give out free promos every single episode.
You got to blank out.
But nobody listens, so it's fine. They're worthless promos, so it's.
Well, we've got to demonstrate that we can do it, so that we can, and then we can just. Well, I say we. You can clip it all, Louis, and we can. We've got a little portfolio of the way that we can promote people.
Thanks for giving me even more work to do.
It's like affirmations, though, with sponsorships. Keep mentioning it, it'll happen.
Subtract it, yes.
We've got to manifest our destiny.
Manifest.
I do feel like we're gradually gaining tiny growth. So you never know. I think we gained a subscriber on YouTube the other week, so that's exciting.
Oh wow! I mean,
I'll subscribe to you on YouTube. Do you want me to do it now? I'll go and subscribe to you now.
Yeah, go on then.
And then you can have another one. I didn't realise you were on YouTube.
Yeah,
we're on everything. Do you never get to the end of the podcast where we do that bit?
Yeah,
where we go,
I do.
We're on Spotify and iTunes and YouTube and everything. I've not updated the SoundCloud in a little while, actually. Shit, I just remembered
I'm not on SoundCloud. That's too far for me.
I think the SoundCloud one's still on the episode we did on.
People listen to podcasts on SoundCloud. Do you reckon? Is that?
I don't. Yeah. Is it a thing?
Could be at least one. Maggie Rogers was the last one I uploaded to SoundCloud.
That's not that long ago.
No. It is before Christmas. we only have 2 followers on there, so it's fine.
I think
one of them's you.
Me.
So it's
you gotta be your own biggest fan. You gotta be your biggest fan, you know?
Well, Ronan's in the fan club, but I just refuse to be part of the fan club.
What else is new with you guys? What's I guess London's probably is that the biggest thing lately?
That's the most recent thing. And the reason I just want to very quickly say that the reason the Jago felt so like you and Hannah is because it was such danceable music that wasn't like just generic. It was it's like live DJs, but they were like with vinyl as well, so they had that cool little air of authenticity.
Yeah,
It wasn't just people with decks, which no respect to people with decks, that's also very cool and talented, but like there's something cool when some guy's like flipping a vinyl out of its case and whacking it on and like mixing it up. And it was like they had like a lot of like Bollywood energy like running throughout the track list. So it was a lot of like groovy beats, and then kind of got these like and the inside was very like bohemian, and it was just sick. And everybody in there was on a good vibe. Like even the strangers felt like
they all were pretty nice actually.
Everybody seemed like on a good level, and
that's like that's an underrated part of a club or a pub or a bar or whatever is just the crowd at the end of the day, and it can really make or break a place.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, it is underrated because I feel like you were always subconsciously aware of it, like the energy of a place and like what everyone else looks like they're doing and having a good time. But you never really talk about it when you talk about your night out. You always talk about like what you and your direct friends did or where you went or whatever.
And the most people talk about it, I guess, like so you get it in the context of like I've heard in Berlin they've got like really strict dress codes and stuff, but that's like the lamest version of caring about who's in. It's just like it's not about what you're wearing, but like just. Although it's a lot harder to check, obviously. Like, are you going to be sound?
Yeah,
you can't just ask it on the door.
Are you an okay person?
You sound
can come in.
You need
to answer these questions interview style.
Designated people in high-vis jackets wandering through the crowds, like just checking everyone's still sound. Vibe check.
Vibe check.
Excuse me, sir. You're not seeming very sound tonight. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave, please, sir. Would you step this way?
Your premises. To be fair, James Another name drop.
Oh yeah.
James, who was on the Christmas episode, did have to be escorted out, I think, at a certain point.
no.
He failed the vibe check.
No.
Because he was pissed.
Yeah, but what happened is he was going out to the smoking area, and then the bouncer said, "You're not going to be let back in because you are fucked." Then he got snuck back in. He put his jumper back on, and then got in.
Took the jumper
So he
off.
was fine.
So he was in dungarees and a very kind of poofy crop top.
Oh, it's a nice crop top.
It was a nice crop top.
I'm not even like his style was on point. Like,
but when he was wearing a jumper, he just looked like a guy in trousers. So they were like, "Oh, we're not letting this guy in trousers back in." But when he took the jumper off, he was suddenly a guy in a crop top and dungarees, which is a completely different look. So he managed to sneak back in.
Well, sounds like
and by sneak, I mean we escorted him in with like 5 of us, like holding him up because he was quite gone. But we couldn't leave him behind. What about you, Ronan? What have you been up to?
Probably the biggest thing was Hannah and I went to Dublin, which I think I mentioned last time.
Ooh, I love Dublin.
Yeah, it was my first time actually there since being like 4 years old, I think. So the first time remembering it, basically. And importantly, first time being able to drink Guinness there.
So good.
It was a defining feature. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to maybe commit blasphemy here. I'm not 100% convinced that the difference is as grand as is made out. But I would say that they were pretty consistently creamier. And like, you know, people talk about like a really well poured Guinness, the way that it sits in the glass and you can kind of move the glass around and it sits almost like it's got a slight jelly texture almost, just if you were to look at it. There was a lot more of that, and they were happy to leave the Guinness much longer. So
right, okay.
I think there was a bit of that, but otherwise, I mean, it could have also just been that they were like, "I'm just going to make this English bloke wait, and we're just taking the piss," but he'll think that it's authenticity.
Could be that.
But yeah, no.
But you're saying taste-wise, it was the same.
No,
the same.
yeah, I could see how there was potentially something more to it, but equally, I could not.
It could be placebo just being.
Yeah, it could be placebo. It was more satisfying because you are in Dublin, you know, and everybody drinks Guinness there, like. To the point that it's like tribal. We were like warned, if you ask for like another stout, you might get like funny looks. So that like they've got another one. Got another one called Murphy's, which I really wanted to try, but it's a cork stout. And somebody we know, Anna, who I've mentioned on the podcast before, she was there one time, and it's more name drop. It's like really lame name dropping in it. Really, at the end of the day, like when other people,
it's just you say you got lots of friends. It's just you're just like, I have so many friends.
Sam's gonna find this episode so irritating.
Well, when celebrities do podcasts, they name drop all the time. It's just that has significance. But anyway.
When I was hanging out with Patrick Bateman the other day, he was telling me, and then Christopher Nolan recommended that I try this Guinness place, but.
So Rory Stewart, I don't know why that's where I went to, but Rory Stewart was in Ireland and he had a Murphy's. Rory Stewart is Anna, by the way, in case that wasn't clear.
Yeah, we're codifying our friends as famous people now.
Yeah. Rory Stewart was like, he had a Murphy's, and the barman was like, "Does it look like we're in fucking Cork?" So I was kind of terrified to ask for one, but I did have one, and then there was another stout which I've now gotten the name of, but that I really wanted to try. And then we saw it in the first pub we were in, and then just no other pubs seemed to have it. Like the number of pubs that it was just like Guinness, very much front and center. Usually had lagers, but like no other stouts and that. Even though there are like other Irish stouts, you know, but just Dublin, I guess, is
not in Dublin. Not in Dublin.
yeah, very much so.
Well, it's like what we were saying about Guinness cornering the market. Like last time we spoke about it, you were like, people are definitely going to study how Guinness as a brand was like single-handedly taking over like a city.
Yeah.
So you went to the Guinness I want to call it factory, but I feel like it's not called factory.
Yeah, we actually didn't in the end, though. I know, again, another sort of sacrilegious
Oh my
act.
God. What? You went all the way to Dublin and you didn't go there? Like, sorry, I'm just trying to understand stuff.
Did you see the spire?
Yeah. So apparently it's a laughing
Were you
stock,
blown away
but
by its majesty?
I actually thought it was pretty impressive, to be honest. I quite liked it. Anna thought it was horrendous. We met we met somebody out there who's from Dublin, and she brought it up, and she was clearly just ready to go in on like mocking it, and I was just like, yeah, it's pretty impressive, that, isn't it? But yeah, it apparently like they'd wanted to have like a Millennium Monument, and they kept on like coming up with designs, and then there were problems, and then just the Millennium got closer and closer, and eventually they were like, just put a spire in there.
just put a sharp pole up, mate. I mean, it's big.
It is
to be
big,
fair.
and like Dublin, I guess like a lot of Europe, it feels like quite a European city in many ways, because it's like quite, all the buildings are quite low on the whole. And so the spire really like stands out, you know, like if it was in London.
That's probably why some people dislike it. Like,
it's
it really blatantly stands out.
Reasonable, yeah. A little bit phallic as well. There's something about the kind of just its dominating presence.
It's very erect, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It certainly is.
How much do you think it cost?
Too much.
Should we do a closer to?
Probably too much.
How much would you spend on it? If you were going to build a spire of Dublin, what would be your budget for what it is?
I'm going for like a few million, I think. Like 6 million. Because everybody's got to work on it. They've got to design it. They've got to like promote it. It's like these things are like.
You think a lot of design went into it?
Oh.
Do you think someone just put their pencil down on the paper and went, "That's it, I've got it"?
Yeah. I think that was pretty much it. But boy, did that take a long time. You know, like I mean, hence why they ended up with it. They tried for a long time to come up with something better, but nah.
It was 4 million euros. So you're not.
Oh, I wasn't far off.
Oh, that's not far.
Back at it again.
I heard in another podcast I was literally listening to, and it was like, Ronan's really good with numbers. Like whenever numbers come up, he's really good.
It's a random skill that I've discovered from this process. It's not.
I've noticed
it's not
there's definitely a correlation between the more we big it up, the worse you get at it.
Yeah,
which is great for me.
So, yeah.
So I like to really
true.
big it up every time before we get to the quiz.
I thought I actually don't have any numbers in this quiz, so you're all right.
Oh,
not like numbers to be like specific numbers. I'm sorry, I should have done that. There's always next time.
No,
there's always
right.
next time.
Like last time was well, to be fair, it didn't go as well on the podcast, but I was just on such a high. I kind of never want to touch numbers ever again, just from the thing at work where I'd been guessing them. And
But Ronan, if it's not recorded, is it even real? You know,
I should have just had like a little recorder app on my phone or something. Just inserted it into the podcast.
We'll make a patron, and the Patreon bonus is just hearing you at random pub quizzes with terrible audio quality, getting number guesses.
Yeah, I mean, I'd listen to it just to relive the glory.
Oh, we've managed to get one patron. It's our fan club. It's just Ronan. Did you get up to much else in Dublin aside from drinking, or was that kind of the key?
Yeah, I mean, like that felt like semi-defining, I suppose. It really wasn't a weekend, but also just got out.
Was it like a long weekend? Was it like 4 day, 3 days?
Yeah, it
or
was
it like
from like the Friday to the Monday, I think, and then we had the Tuesday off,
nice.
and we went for like a sort of anniversary meal. But yeah, we got out to the coast as well. That was the only other thing in Dublin that was just like, obviously also seeing Nadia, just other name drop. Seeing Alistair Campbell. That's not a comparison to Alistair Campbell, Nadia, if she happened to be yeah, we saw Alistair Campbell, our old friend. So that was also nice. But yeah, also just getting out to the coast was lovely. Like you can't really beat just sea air, a bit of nature, bit of a stroll. That felt so bloody rejuvenating. That was. I'm also living off that.
Do you feel rested and recuperated now for this week? Do you feel like you've had a nice holiday? Or do you wish you could go back and have even more?
Did I? I think I did feel pretty rested, but also it can be kind of knackering going away.
All the traveling and stuff.
Traveling, yeah.
I mean, it was pretty smooth, like considering. Like I hate flights. I hate airports. I mean, duty free is actually just probably my idea of hell.
I was thinking about this the other day, actually. I was thinking, like, what a G you were for literally coming out all the way to New Zealand for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, that's incredible. I can't believe you actually did that.
Yeah, that was a surreal
I'm so
journey.
glad you did.
It was worth it. But yeah, that was a very surreal journey. I mean, that was almost like, so if Dublin was kind of decent because it was so short, that was almost like decent because it's so long, you just end up in a bit of like a robot mode and you just exist for a bit.
Yeah, fully.
You get through it.
Yeah. Whereas those mid-length journeys, it's kind of it's the uncomfortableness of a short one without being able to like settle.
Yeah. Anyway, that's I'm trying to think if there's anything more to say. That's such a horrible way to peter out. But
Is there anything else that you want to bring to the group, to AA? Anything you want to discuss? Anything you want off your chest, mind? Anything? Did you go to Temple Bar?
We didn't actually go. We did stand outside it. There's a photo of me with a frozen pizza stood outside.
Fair enough. You didn't get ripped off by their prices.
Is it expensive? Oh god.
Oh yeah.
It did look good.
It hurts.
We went to a place called the Hairy Lemon, which is apparently like quite a popular one. I don't know. That was pretty good.
You got the picture and then you left.
Yeah,
you're like, I'm done.
Did the trick.
It's like got the t-shirt and now I'm gone. See you later. I'm not spending my money here.
What is the experience actually going to it, Flora?
It's just a historical bar. Like it's just very famous for being Temple Bar. It's just like one of the sites to see in Dublin. You know, like how York Minster is a site to see in York. It's like, and also the General Post Office there is also very good.
Am I crazy? What is it?
Well, Temple Bar's a bar. Temple Bar's a bar.
Oh, it's like an actual bar. Pub.
Yeah, and they have like, they usually have like someone like performing in there.
Oh, okay,
like
cool.
Just on the guitar. It's really nice, actually. All the bars around there have a really nice vibe to them. As in, like, you go in and sort of someone's just in the corner, like doing some songs on a guitar, and you just get overly charged for drinks, though.
Yeah, it was quite an expensive city, actually.
It's so expensive. It's like London expensive.
Oh,
I mean,
maybe a bit more.
They've got what we've got in the UK in terms of like all of their economic activity essentially is in Dublin, you know, like just entirely.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just, I think a lot of it's pretty extreme. Yeah, it's a great city though, and kind of walkable, which was really nice. But I suppose most places are relative to London.
Oh yeah.
More of something else entirely.
Flora.
Yes.
Nice to have you on the podcast.
Nice to be here. I miss Christmas. I mean, my voice is already still ruined both times. Maybe you're just a bad omen for me and my voice.
It could be it, to be fair. Just the knowledge of coming on doing some public speaking. Your voice just hides away.
The anxiety of it all.
But yeah, originally Flora was going to come on for our Christmas episode with James and co-host the Christmas quiz. And she bailed out under suspicious circumstances known as Christmas flu.
I could not speak. I couldn't say words. It was awful. And I was well upset because James really sat me down and like said, we need to make a really hard quiz. So I sat there for like 2 hours with him trying to do this damn quiz.
You put in all the legwork and like got none of the benefits from it.
Yeah, and he
Did you
was
listen
really
back to
good.
any of it?
I haven't actually got to that one. I'm still going through them. I've got a pee. No, I'm too upset. It hurt a lot, actually. I cried myself to sleep.
Well, now is your opportunity to
redeem myself.
Redeem yourself. And give us a little bit of an introduction to Attention by Shinedown. Which, do you want to just tell us a little bit about it? Like why you picked it?
Sorry, my boyfriend's just in the room. I'm gonna wait for him to leave.
Oh no, someone's listening. I feel self-conscious.
I know, but it's because he introduced the band to me, which is one of your questions. He is the person who introduced Shinedown to me, and specifically this album was the first one that he did because I'd say I have quite an eclectic music taste. I cherry pick from every genre. Like there is pretty much no genre that I haven't cherry picked from because I don't want to say it. I don't conform to stuff, but I genuinely
Not like all the other girls.
Yeah, I'm just a pick me, okay? No, it's just genuinely if I connect with a song, that is more important to me than sort of going with an artist. But with them, I actually really enjoyed all the songs on this album. And I never really listened to, well, they're kind of classed as like hard rock, alternative metal, post-grunge. They've got sort of a range within the rock genre. That is not something that I was really that exposed to within my own social circles that much, apart from thinking like Slipknot, and that used to scare me. No offense, Mary.
Yeah.
Because I like listened to her one and I'm like, oh my God, I can't do Slipknot. Like, yeah, there's only so far I can go, but...
Well, it's interesting because it was between this and Doja Cat, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know, which is so funny, isn't it?
So what made you pick this? Was it a time toss, or were you like, actually, this is the one that like I'm feeling?
Well, I just thought I like connected with more songs from this album than I did on the Doja Cat one. Not saying that I didn't with the majority of her ones. I love her because she makes me feel good. If you want to be put in a good mood, listen to Doja Cat. I don't think you can listen to it angry. Whereas this album, I'd say you would.
I was going to say, what's the mood of this album then?
It's a bit more angry, but it's also a pick-me-up because, like, so I really like Brilliant, and I think it's sort of to dust yourself off when you've gone through a really big struggle. It's sort of combining all of those themes, which you can pick yourself up from a really bad situation and you can learn from it and grow from it and look at sort of the positive side of growing from that. Is like a really important message, and I think it really comes through the whole album, and it just connects all together. And when you listen to it, you're like, oh my God, like I can connect to this, even with like some of the really angry songs. Some of it's to do with like family, and then some of it's to do with your own self. I think it's just got a very good message behind the whole thing, and I can really see where they're coming from when they write these songs, and that they're coming really from them rather than like another writer writing it. It is all done by them as well. Yeah. And they produce it. So I have massive respect for them.
So if we're thinking of this in terms of like, because that is like a kind of, I'm sort of stealing that line of questioning, the whole mood album kind of.
Yeah.
If we were thinking of it as an album that you sort of come to in certain moods, is it for that sort of overall sense of like a pep talk, a kind of give yourself a bit of self-assurance, power, and kind of all that sort of thing?
And reflection, almost like you can just reflect on what you've done, like even, and it also humbles you because you're not special. I love that, like special, and it's kind of like I'll big you up, but then I'll like you gotta be humble about it. Like there's only so much, and I think it's just very good when you just listen to it and you're just in that kind of mindful space as well. Some of the songs are more angry, so they're great for working out with.
I was gonna say, I think certain tracks struck me very much as like gym. I was like, I can definitely picture Flora like getting the pump on at the gym to some of these, or like hitting the treadmill to some of these kind of tracks.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it with Brilliant or Special because they're like not songs that you would. Yeah, but like Devil, I love that one. That one's a great song. And I the video for that one is also really funny because it's like all the band all together and then they just start absolutely fighting each other for no reason, but it's like speculating the devil's in the room with them, and it's a funny video.
Is it meant to be funny? Is it them sort of being a bit like tongue in cheek, or is it just so melodramatic? It's kind of funny.
It's kind of it's tongue in cheek, but also like. They had gone through people going out of the band, falling out with the band. So it was kind of, this was like the people who were in the band now there's two that are from the start, and that's the lead singer and the drummer, who from 2001 when the band was formed, and then the two guitarists are from 2008, and so they've had a really long inception, to be fair, for a band.
I did not clock that they'd been around that long. That's like a proper, they're sort of old schoolers by that point, in a way.
Most of the bands that my boyfriend listens to pretty much been together for years and years and years and years and years. Like, they don't tend to fall out and then disperse.
Is there any link then to that, like, sort of... I'm thinking this partly because we did this album, Spiderland, like... a few times ago, and we were talking about how we didn't know much about, like, the, say, emo scene, and it felt like an influence on that. This almost feels like some of it might come out of strands of that. Like, is there any link there? Just because I'm thinking back to the sort of noughties emo kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's post-grunge. Like, they were influenced by Pink Floyd. It's they were influenced by a lot of other great sort of rock bands. But what's amazing about them is I just think their vocals are amazing. And I think they also do... I should have sent you this album that they did, which is the lead vocalist and the guitarist actually did a sort of acoustic kind of version of mainstream songs. So they had one by Post Malone. And they had Billie Eilish. And do you know what? It's amazing in their, like, sort of way that they do it. And I will send it afterwards because I genuinely think they're really talented.
Put it in the link in the description. It's funny because, like, I'd not heard. It's one of it's again. It's like it always happens, or it happens quite a lot, where you'll come across an artist and you're like, oh, I've never heard of them. Like, I'd never heard of Shinedown before. I'd never heard of Attention before. And then you're like, oh, they've been around since 2003, I think was their first album. So they've probably been around a bit before that as well. And they do have, like, millions and millions of hits on most of their songs. And it's all, like, anthemic music. It's very much that kind of... that's kind of the takeaway I got from listening to the album, was it's that kind of anthemic rock. Kind of like... I hope this isn't, like... unfair to say, but it reminded me of, like, Imagine Dragons, some Imagine Dragons stuff.
Yeah, that's where they go into, like, the pop rock kind of, like, they go over. But the thing is, if you listen to other albums, it's different. So there's some heavier ones, and then there's some lighter ones, and then there's this one is a bit more pop rock.
This struck me as kind of like a stadium filler album, like
like.
But they dabble in a little bit of everything.
Yeah, they're really they're quite big in the US.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And to be fair, they're fairly big. They've done Download.
That's why I'm like, I can't believe I've not heard of them before. How have I not heard, like, their songs in TV shows and, like, because they
I know,
because
they seem like they would be on there.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what I thought.
Especially when they've got 192 million listens to, like, one of their top songs.
Yeah, they're really good. All I'm saying that. I'm happy to expose you.
Yeah, it's really interesting sort of coming across this, because if you're anything like me, Louis, I feel like maybe I suddenly felt I feel less old now that I know that they're old and they've been around for a while, but I almost felt old in the way that, like, I felt like it sounds all very kind of current, and it sounds like some kind of current sort of scene that I've just has dropped off my radar or something. And kind of like you're saying, like, something that's kind of come out of perhaps some of the sort of Imagine Dragons stuff, and, you know, like, all of those kind of things. And it's it's really interesting to kind of hear this sort of other branch of kind of rock that's sort of going on that has all of these kind of different influences. And it's interesting what you're saying about that they seem to experiment with a lot of genres, because I feel like that comes through a bit in just down to, like, the production style. Like, it almost has that kind of really crisp, poppy kind of production and luscious kind of production as well. So yeah, that was my reaction. Like, I hadn't heard of them, and it suddenly made me feel like I'd sort of just completely missed, like, something that was
I was like, man, rock music's going on, like, behind my back.
I mean, I really want to get my boyfriend on one of these, because he'd be absolutely fantastic to talk about anything like that, especially...
Is he still in the room? Is that why you're picking him up?
No, he has left, because I would feel really, really shy. He'd be very proud of me, but then I'd also say something wrong, and I'm really scared about saying something wrong. And so I'm going to tell him not to listen to this because I'm too scared.
That keeps happening where people come on and then they're like, yeah, that was really fun to do, but I'm not going to show it to anyone close to me.
No. I'll show it to other people. But he, because his parents are, they are rockers, family of people who like rock music. So it's literally like very low of pressure.
That's interesting. So like, does that mean that you've kind of did you have much of a relationship with rock before your boyfriend,
No,
or so you've
not
come
at
to
all.
that through your boyfriend? And like, what's that experience, and not just with this album, but what's that experience as a whole been? Or is that an experience that's happened specifically through this album?
So, to be fair, he told me on the first date that he was really into rock music, and I was a bit taken aback because how I thought of rock music was
Be like, oh, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, screamo, and I was like, oh no, I can't do it. Or like, if you've ever heard goblin metal, that is
I
terrifying.
haven't heard of
Goblin
goblin metal. That's
Oh my god,
I now need to go
scary.
listen to Goblin Metal.
Scary. To be fair, it just came about of him sort of finding stuff that matched my style. He would try
To
and
ease you
play
into
stuff and to ease me into it. And Shinedown was it was actually this album, a few songs on it. And he's like, I just think you'll really like it. Because we started dating in 2018. So it was kind of newish. So he was like, oh, I think you might actually, because I played him like Fall Out Boy, Imagine Dragons. So it's like, getting towards more of the rock side of pop without actually being rock as such, or punk sort of stuff.
Did you like it from the get-go? Did you like immediately like attach to
Yeah,
it? Did it take a few?
weirdly, yeah. And it just happens with a few songs. Like if I connect with a song, then it's there. It's instantly there. It's like, it's nothing really too much to do with the artist. It's more what I get from the song and how it makes me feel.
Is it the kind of right place, right time?
Yeah.
Make the connection.
Yeah, but then I played the rest of the album and I actually really enjoyed all of it. And then been to one of their concerts recently because they actually did a UK tour, which they hadn't done in ages. They only just did download usually, and they were amazing live. Phenomenal.
I can picture that. Yeah, was it high energy kind of performance?
Yeah, like they had fire coming from the stage.
Wow.
So it was it was very intense, but every note was hit perfectly. You sort of just sat there and you're in that environment. Everyone's loving it.
Is it a mosh pit environment, or is it like a headbanging, or like?
Oh, there is some mosh pits, but I stay away from those because I would get broken. But they've got some very nice soft songs as well, which they play, and so they do their like harder songs, the more mosh pitty ones, and then softer ones.
I can tell that they're definitely like a variety of genres, because I'm just looking at the, like on Spotify, there's the playlist featuring this artist, and it's adrenaline workout, acoustic rock, heavy metal, hit, rock ballads.
Yeah.
The
rock ballads get me.
And the one that's the most you Flora is "Life Sucks, I Need Some Rock," and I'm like, that's
And the rock ballads are insane, by the way. You should actually look at that genre as well. Didn't know it existed until I started dating him, and then I'm like, what? They're like really, really like deep and very impactful, and very like the vocals are insane. These I will say, like, people in rock bands, lead singers usually have insane vocals. Like amazing.
I'm having to look up rock ballads to see if I recognise anything that sort of comes under that sort of umbrella. Whilst I'm doing that, this might be an unfair question.
Oh, no.
It's like no. It's picking up on what we were saying about like getting a sense of crowds and all that kind of stuff. Like, do you think you could read like who the audience were? I guess it's even harder to tell at a festival because you get such a hodgepodge. But like, it's because of that huge range in terms of genres. Did it feel like the crowd was this huge range of people that have come from all sorts of different sort of interests and backgrounds? If that makes sense. That's what I mean by being an unfair question. I don't know how you can read that. Like,
obviously, a majority of them are like rock people. You can tell, like leather jackets, everything. Your typical.
Sure.
Don't want to stereotype But then you get people like my boyfriend who, let's be honest, he doesn't look like he would like rock music. But there was kids there bopping along.
Yeah.
They got like a wide demographic. They definitely got a very loyal fan base, like very, very loyal.
We've got to give a quick shout out, sorry, to the parents that bring their kids along to festivals, because they're just the coolest. I just love that. I love when you see like, and you get like the kids on like parents' shoulders with the little earphones.
Oh,
you know, the little earmuffs
that's so cute. Yeah.
Do you think you'd take kids in the future, Ronan? Take some kids to the...
Yeah, if I had kids, I'd want to be that kind of parent. That is exactly... I'd model it off those people I've seen for like 2 seconds at a festival. Just the entirety of parenthood, I think. And obviously on my own parents, just because, you know, I know that they listen. Great parenting, guys.
It's kind of a tangent, but do you think like would you try and like encourage your children to listen to certain music? Like be like, oh, this is this artist, and you should listen to this. Or do you think it's just you'd be like, oh, okay, well, we'll see what they discover in their own time, and just hope that they turn out okay. You know?
Just pray.
Hope that they don't end up listening to Machine Gun Kelly, and pray that it's someone actually good. Because I could see myself like playing them certain songs.
Yeah, I think you could play like your favourite songs.
And then they loads of associate that with like, oh, these are my dad's songs or whatever. So they'll go through a phase of like enjoying them, then they'll go through a phase of hating them, presumably like, you know, the teenage years. Yeah. And then they'll come out the other side of it and be like, oh man, these songs make me so nostalgic about those holiday trips or whatever.
That's what I'm relying on.
Yeah.
They just go through the rite of passage, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I want to use them as my resource to remain current. Like, there's going to become a point when you lose track. Like, surely your kids will know what's up vaguely.
Come here, child number one. Tell me, what are you listening to on your AI implant in your ear? What's playing?
AI implant.
What's playing on your Elon Musk mind chip?
Beam it to me.
Beam it to me.
I feel like it should be the kid's choice. I mean, you can influence it, but at the end of the day, it's what the kid connects to. I'd never try and force my style.
Really love to ask a kid who was one of these kids who got taken to festivals what their experience and like memories of it were, because you know, like I was taken to like Disneyland Paris as a kid, and I remember it vaguely fondly but not specifics, so I assume that would kind of be the vibe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how young, but another of my friends, I'm trying to think, I'm running out of celebrities here. Another of my friends, Margot Robbie.
Oh, what a name drop.
That doesn't work, it's the wrong gender as well. Another of my friends, Leo DiCaprio, there we go. Leo, this is a good way of keeping it interesting. It's somebody I know, Leo.
He's gonna get sued for like slander.
Oh no. Well, oh yeah, okay.
As long as it's only good stories and never like, oh my mate Tom Hanks is actually a terrible criminal who keeps breaking into old ladies' houses. Yeah, I get away with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to be dropping stories like that, so hopefully we're safe. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Okay, my mate Leo, who may or may not be Leo DiCaprio. I've got to remember what I was actually trying to say. Oh, he grew up sort of going to like festivals. I don't know how, like from how young, but I do know that we met up with him and his mum one time after they'd been to Prodigy together in Brixton.
Oh, very cool.
And they'd both been just sort of loving it. And it was like the crowd from Prodigy was very much like such a mix of like basically where I wouldn't be surprised if it's not like he would have been the only one going with his parents. Like it was such a weird mix of people of all different ages.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like it was just parents or, you know, just young people with their parents or, you know, like it was just everything and everything in between. But yeah, I actually don't know whether there's anything more to the story other than Leo DiCaprio, actually.
But maybe we should get him on the podcast and ask him about it.
We should get him on the podcast. Yeah, I have actually been thinking about getting him on. So it's not Leo though.
You're making me think it's Leonardo DiCaprio. I know that.
No, I wanted to ask him about his 19-year-old girlfriend and how did he not find out?
No, haven't you heard that rumor that he like listens to like house music when he's having sex? Or like
really?
something.
What?
He listens to like some fucking
this
raging music when he's having sex. Honestly, that's
I mean, house music. There's worse music. What would be the worst music to listen to? Like death metal?
no,
Or...
a
I guess
really
that'd be
sappy song.
Nursery rhymes.
Oh
Nursery
yeah,
rhymes would be the
Rhymes
worst.
would be the worst.
nursery
Yeah,
rhymes.
God, Louis,
Yeah.
you got it.
Or a hymn.
You sorted
A
it.
hymn.
Oh, a
Hymn
hymn.
would be
You just
worse,
got
yeah.
a gospel choir, like
Maybe you just feel Christmas.
yeah. I think you're thinking of very. What if it's like one of the really depressing, sad hymns? That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah, true.
Not
Lord
Lord of
Jesus,
the
like-
Dance.
I am the Lord of the...
Is it like the Lord of the Dance? No, you can't. You can't get busy to that.
I don't know how to like bring it back. To
I don't know
Shinedown
either.
from-
They
Oh,
did.
yeah,
they
sorry,
do.
we
They do
spiraled.
touch on religion in Shinedown. To be fair, their latest album, which is something I might have spoken on, but like I wasn't 100% sure because I didn't want to speak on it because it's the songs are a big range. There's a lot of synthesized sound in that one actually.
What's this? Sorry?
It's their other album called Planet Zero, which was it last year?
Oh, this
most recent one, yeah.
This year.
Last year.
It's 2023. Shit.
That's very much commentating on sort of the political, what's happened in the world kind of thing, reflecting back on COVID and the advance in technology. So they pull in very big themes.
What was it that made you pick attention over the others? Like, I know, is it other than like it being the very first one that you were introduced to? Because I assume you've been introduced to them and then you've gone through and you've
I've
listened to a lot of their other stuff. But does attention still kind of hold the special spot in your heart? But is there anything about it other than it being like your introduction that kind of brings you back to it all the time or grabs you?
No, I do think it's just nostalgic because it's like the first one.
Yeah.
That I really like because he showed me a lot of other bands before that. So if you've ever heard of Alter Bridge, Tremonti, you can look these up later. I'll send you links.
Yeah, we need like a catalogue.
Do you know what?
Yeah. Again, it's just this whole genre that's been going on behind my back.
Get him on. I will get him to get on the podcast because he will speak about it in much more detail and probably more knowledge as well than my basicness. But yeah, but this was like the band that I connected with the most. Like, not saying that they are really, really talented people, and I'm not ever saying anything different because also I would get murdered. But Shinedown was just the one that like shone out to me.
Would you say you're more of a lyrics person or a melody person?
Every time. Lyrics every time. Which is really funny because then I picked Doja Cat. She's got some good lyrics, but like not deep themes. Put it that way.
I've never actually listened to much Doja Cat either. That's my admission for this.
Well, I'm gonna send you some songs.
One of those ones I've heard the name. Yeah, God, that's gonna be a real range, isn't it? Just jumping from Doja to Shinedown and back.
And back again. Honestly, that's what my Spotify does now. So
the collaboration that needs
the way
to happen.
To do it.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like the modern way of listening to music, though. I mean, I've talked about this before. Spotify does encourage that incredibly almost erratic way of jumping between sounds and genres, and I kind of love it. Like, I feel like it's like it's one of the ways in which our generation makes our mark. Not just because, like, instead of like say previous generations where you have a genre that might define it, or maybe a counter genre at the same time. For us, it's like the sheer overwhelming quantity of genres, you know.
Yeah.
That's sort of characteristic of the here and now. So we've got to claim that as ours, you know.
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah, because like you're saying, for previous generations, it's been like, oh, this is the popular music, and then you have the, like you say, the counterculture. Whereas now it's almost like there's nowhere to hide as a counterculture because there'll always be, you know, some relatively large fan base to kind of latch on to any genre. So even though you've got like certain genres dominating the charts or dominating the top, like, you know, I think hip hop has been at the top for quite a while now, but it's definitely kind of your more kind of pop, hip hop and trap and that kind of stuff that dominates the charts. But you've got all your little weirdo experimental stuff still gathers like thousands of listens and hundreds of super keen fans, and at any point you could just be on your Discover Weekly and have something random fall into your lap that's just from across the spectrum of genres. And suddenly, before you know it, you've found your new favorite band,
Mongolian
your new
folk
favorite
music.
artist, new Mongolian throat singing. Yeah, Mongolian black metal. The Who. Did you have any like favorite moments on the album, Flora? Like favorite? I know you've already listed off some songs, but is there any when you listen to it in its entirety, certain swells that kind of get you?
To be fair, I'm usually pretty happy when I listen to this album, which is really strange because a lot of them are very, I don't know, not angry, not kind of angry. Yeah, they're angry. Brilliant definitely puts me in a really good mood. I like.
Which is good because it's the last one.
Yeah.
So it's a good note to end
I mean,
on.
it has the lyric, it's my day to be brilliant. It's like, it's my day to shine. And like, who doesn't want to be told that? Like, you want to be gassed up like that. It's great. But then if you want to be humbled, you go, you're not special. Which always makes me laugh. But it's, yeah, I think it just has happy memories because, like, I just think of when I first met my boyfriend and stuff like that, which sounds really sappy and grim, but disgusting. It's love. Ugh. But it just like reminds me of him. And whenever I kind of listen to any of the stuff that he's kind of like introduced me to, or I put on my phone so that when we go on like car trips, he can like use my phone to play it through in the speakers in the car. It's a nice little memory, and it's kind of like I just think back to him, and it's nice, especially if like we did long distance for quite a bit of time because of COVID, and so it was always nice. Sort of, I could go back to those songs, and I could like just think he was there with me. So yeah, I think it's an album that makes me happy, and it makes me reflect on really good times.
That makes complete sense to me. That intimate connection between music and people sometimes. It's not all songs or all artists or all genres or whatever are always connected to a person for me. But it's quite a common thing, I think. Even if it's not the defining characteristic of a song, although sometimes it very much can be. I mean, it can be impossible to sort of rip a song from the sort of person or the situation that you associate it with or whatever. But it's just another way in which like music is incredibly evocative. I mean, music and smells in it basically at the end of the day. Two things that can just bring you right back to
transport you something. Yeah,
exactly. Like it's happy memories. Like when we've listened to it on road trips, it's always been good, and it's how excited he is to show me that, and how happy he is when I like kind of the songs, because he does get a little bit sad if I'm like, oh, it's not really my taste, and it's like I show him when I listen to it without him, and he's like, oh, that's amazing, and he gets very exciting.
But yeah, that's so special because it's like a mark of like, oh, they weren't just being nice.
Yeah,
they weren't just being like, yeah, it's great, yeah cheers, thank you so much.
Like never listening to
like,
that.
If you actually go away and listen to it in your personal time, it's like, oh yeah, no, it's actually made an impact. Yeah,
he knows that's the one band that I will go to if there's any like tour or anything, because otherwise that like I can't turn up. Back in November, which was our first ever concert together, he goes to loads of concerts, to be fair, because there's like Bad Wolves, Blackstone Cherry, like quite a few that tour frequently enough. Yeah, I'm going to roll off names like there's loads. And
name drop some rock bands.
But I mean, it's such not a niche genre, because there is a lot of people who like it, but there's not many people who like, I don't know, not many people that even Danny knows that like really love it as much as he does. Like he loves it.
I think that's what's perplexing, because I think definitely feel the same way in the sense that like, you look at their artist page and you look at like similar artists in the rock genre, and they do have like these millions and millions of plays, but most of the time when you ask around like what people's favorite genres are at the minute, rock rarely comes up as like modern rock in particular. Like sometimes you'll find somebody who's like, I just love AC/DC, and you're like, yeah, but like what do you like
exactly
more recently? So you tend to get kind of like a lot of old heads who almost sometimes they feel like they're old heads just for the sake of standing out from the crowd a little bit. But I feel like Danny's the only person I know who, and like you as well,
No, to an
who
extent.
to the extent of like being introduced to it more recently, yeah. But like who are actively like, yeah, like rock music's got some stuff going
It
on.
literally, I didn't know it had this much stuff going on until like I met him, and then I'm like, wow, I have been sheltered.
And it's just strange that it's simultaneously like this. It feels almost like underground, and then you look at the numbers and you're like,
It
no,
is not
there's definitely
underground,
like
yeah.
there's clearly like, I guess it's still very prominent in like big parts of the US,
yeah.
and maybe it's just in the UK that there's just a more subdued kind of rock culture at the minute.
Yeah, it could be partly like a geographical thing, but also maybe this is like the flip side of what I was just saying about the sort of Spotify phenomenon, is that it can become quite like fragmented. So like you're not always going to find the people that listen to the same things as you, because kind of everybody's found their own niche sometimes. And you know, if say you're talking about that sort of the binary sort of, you have the mainstream culture and the counterculture like in the past, where it's like maybe there's versions of that still going on, but which one's the mainstream and which one's not mainstream just feels almost indistinguishable. So like, for example, like Black Country New Road is a rock band, you know, like I mentioned just because I know you like Louis, and you know they're a rock band, but
a lot sadder vibes than Shinedown.
Yeah,
I want to show you more Shinedown, because you'll realize there's just so much of a range. Like there's a lot of emotion in them, and I find that actually rock songs just they have the biggest range of like emotions than I know of like most genres, which is so surprising, because I just thought, being like a novice and not really exposed to it beforehand, I was just like, they're angry. They're just angry. But now I like realize like they've got everything in there, like literally every emotion you can think of, it's in there, in that genre. It is so diverse.
Yeah, like rock's just such a huge, expansive genre. I think you're right there that like one of the hallmarks of it a lot of the time is expressions of emotion. Not to say that doesn't happen in other genres. It's just something that rock very often seems to wear on its sleeve, I guess. It's kind of like why we talk about sometimes about like the sort of staring out the car window music and all that kind of stuff. That to me would be very much like soft rock music, I guess, would be archetypal. You know, dad rock, I guess it's sometimes kind of referred to as. But you know, like that, like it's a genre that lends itself to those kind of expressions of emotion very well. I'm trying to think of something now that would compete with it. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm basically. I feel like there's something that makes me feel like I'm gonna second guess this after we finish. But
it's a good pet theory to nurse.
Yeah.
For the time being.
Yeah.
I think like I like what you said, Ronan, about it just being like a rock in all its forms, and even when it's just music that's kind of like rock inspired or rock adjacent, wearing it on their sleeve. I think sometimes with certain other genres you get a little bit of like, I don't know, like fronting, like putting up you know, acting a bit harder than you are, or acting a little bit sadder than you are, or acting like a, whereas I think most of the time when you get something that has ties to rock, or like, because I want to include like a lot of things in this kind of umbrella, but
it's a huge.
I think rock music tends to be quite honest, sometimes to its own detriment. I think sometimes there are some rock bands like Nickelback who are just a little bit too honest, you know.
You know what?
With the way
Danny loves Nickelback, and to be fair, they've got some bangers. I'm not gonna sit there.
We should get him on to talk about Nickelback.
Yeah,
can Danny come on and talk about Nickelback?
He will.
That is like interesting.
He hates it when people are all like, "This is a very
Look
Danny."
This graph.
He really hates it when people really rip into them, because actually they produce some pretty decent stuff, and I will agree with him.
I'm all about a revisionist take. I lap that shit up. So very down to sort of hear something like that.
Tune in the future for Danny joins us for a Nickelback
Danny's
special.
in the room. Danny, talking about Nickelback. and I'm defending them. He just did a big gap.
Can you give the elevator pitch? Can you give the elevator pitch?
Can you give a elevator pitch for Nickelback? If you have to come to the mic,
This is
come to the mic.
putting you on the spot.
Come
sorry.
to the mic. Come to the mic. Put it in your ear. You have to bend down, but
I thought you were going to say put it in your mouth.
put it in your mouth.
Oh, you did it right. No, honestly, listen to they're sort of like listen to The Long Road cover to cover. The riffs on it are immense. Just this wall of American hard gain and drop C. It is amazing. Listen to because of you, Throw Yourself Away. See You at the Show. That's a great
I thought
track.
you were about to say Skinny Little Missy. Don't listen to that.
Oh, that's a great tune as well. It's exactly as it sounds.
You were ready with the pitch, though. That's that's
That was pure passion.
I absolutely
Yeah.
love them.
Pure passion,
Honestly,
right.
listen to the album cover to cover, and listen to the ones which aren't like the radio hits. They're the best ones by far. The sort of the heaviest stuff. Calling for the Ferryman, yeah. I'm just gonna go on a list now. I'll pop it back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love you. Thank
a lot
you.
of like listing name dropping.
That's a little taster of what's to come in the
Yeah.
future.
As I'm saying, he could probably do a whole podcast just on rock bands.
Just
Yeah.
Nickelback.
Just on Nickelback, yeah. Yeah.
20 episodes of Nickelback recommendations.
Do you want that? I can schedule you in. As I said, he's very passionate about music. Very passionate.
No, I love that. I love that. sort of
You could
passion
hear
for
it.
I've very quickly I've thought of I'll kick myself if I don't say it. A very sort of simple explanation for why there's that whole long history of wearing emotions on your sleeve in rock music. I guess it ultimately just all goes back to blues music, right? Which is the defining characteristic of blues music is it's a few simple chords and singing your emotions, basically. So at its very core, that is what it is.
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, definitely.
What it's grown out of.
Agree with that. Most of like rock is heavily influenced by blues.
Yeah, I think it pretty much all goes back there. Like, I'm sure there's like other. I mean, and like as it's expanded, it's taken on other influences and all that stuff. But that's the kind of like the root of the tree to a large extent, I think.
Definitely agree with that. What a nice sentiment to leave it on.
Do you want to pick some favourite songs off the... I know you love all the songs on the album, but if I had to make you pick, let's say 3.
Okay. Let me think. Oh, there's so many good ones. This is brutal.
This is always the meanest part
Get
of the
Up's
podcast.
really good. I like Get Up. Get up, get a move on. Get up. I love that. That's motivational. A Devil. I just think that's a really good song. Oh, this is really hard. I like, oh no, because I keep looking at them and like seeing them in my head and be like, yeah, I'm going to go with Kill Your Conscience. I like that. I just like all of them. Also, like, to be fair, I haven't spoken about it, but like the guitar solos are pretty immense in all of them. Really like them. They're good. Talented people. Very talented people. There we go. I'm done.
Yeah, done. Okay.
Benito.
Do you have any particular standouts from the track list, Ronan?
Yeah, well, I was actually going to say Get Up as well. I quite liked. And also, I just loved the line, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On?
Yeah, it's the Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, I like that one.
On.
I loved that. And it reminded me a bit of, I remember when AM came out by Arctic Monkeys, I remember Alex Turner saying they'd always had these kind of hip hop influences, and he was like, the latest thing I've become really interested in is the way that wordplay works in hip hop. And it's like they're using, you say something and then you drop like what that, like an alternative meaning for that. So it's like his example was his line, Puppet on a String, and then Tracy Island, you suddenly kind of twist it. This was just like an example of that. It's like very almost like, I mean, this is just an obligatory trying to make it out like they're influenced by hip hop, but I felt like there were some elements of that, and like that style of lyricism was very hip hop like.
I definitely agree that they take on that, and they definitely evolve their music style throughout each album. Like no album is the same, put it that way.
Yeah, I think it's as much just like it comes across as like their openness to the whole sort of spectrum of different sounds that are just going on, I guess. That's what it came across like, because the other thing was like there's on Devil, which I also like enjoyed. There's sort of, if you listen to it again, I don't know whether I was going crazy with this, but there's a sort of element of like on parts of it, it's like they're doing like the trap triplet flow, like a da 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 da.
Yeah.
And they sort of do a bit of that. I don't know why. I got really in my head that they were like doing something like that, but I don't think it was purposeful, and I think it was partly me projecting it onto it. But that's my other little tidbit to take away.
That's almost. I mean, that's just made me think about, because you're saying about how like you get a lot of these times like the lyrics where it's like it means one thing and then they drop another thing and it can mean like three different things.
Yeah.
And I love it when you get these lyrics breakdowns where they do like a lyric breakdown of the artist. And the artist reacts to it and they go, "Oh, I didn't even realize."
Yeah.
and it's like them doing what you're listening like, "Oh, it sounds like they've kind of done a little bit of a triplet flow here." And they could be like, "Oh, sick."
Yeah.
Didn't mean to, but yeah, dope.
Yeah.
I think I might have a controversial pick because it's the least listened to on the album, but I enjoyed Evolve. It's also the only explicit song on the album, which maybe that's, I don't know, maybe I picked up on the swearing and I just connected with it. I don't know why, it just, when I was making my way through the track list, you know how sometimes you just you're like, oh yeah, what's this one? You know, you just like you get picked up mid song and you just gotta check to see which song it is.
Yeah.
Evolve just, I don't know, jumped out at me, but I think that could be, you know, a controversial pick because it only has nearly 8 million plays compared to all the rest of them, which have more. So, I don't know.
I'll have to keep playing it then. I'll boost up those numbers.
Boost it back up.
Don't you worry.
I think I also enjoyed, I mean, yeah, Devil's an easy pick.
Yeah.
And I'll go with Get Up as well, actually. I'll go with Get Up as well. Why not?
Get Up's just motivational. I don't think you can not like that song. It'd
be a good one to get you out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a laugh.
Try and face the day. Yeah. It's time for the quiz. Do 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 do. Do do. Bing. Bing.
I didn't know if you wanted like multiple choice or not. So some of them are multiple choice and some aren't.
Sure.
And I've done 5.
We love our quizzes chaotic and kind of you know, all we do is we just message the guests and we're like, "Are you okay to do the quiz?" And like, yeah. And we're like, great.
We love our quizzes like our podcasts.
Today you messaged me?
Chaos.
Oh, I always message the guests on the day of, you know, just to make sure that we don't get to the recording and do what me and Ronan did, where we go, "Oh fuck, we forgot that we need a quiz."
We forgot our own format. That's
But yeah, we love it. We love a chaotic quiz, usually put together over a lunch break and of a random assortment of questions.
Yeah, it was put over. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't actually use. I'm so sorry. I didn't actually look at your Google Doc until I got back home. You know, to get inspiration. So these are actually Shinedown specific questions. So good luck. All right. The first question is: who is the lead vocalist in Shinedown? Is it A, Zach Myers, B, Brent Smith, C, Barry Giron? Oh, sorry, I spelled that weird. Or D, Eric Bass?
Why did you have to choose all completely like reasonable names that it could easily be
they're
the
all
lead
in the
singer
band.
of? They're all in the band.
No!
Oh no!
Why?
I'm gonna go with Zach. Zach's speaking to me.
I have no clue.
Zach sounds like a lead singer's name.
I'm just gonna go for C because I
Whichever one that was.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to both of you, but you're both wrong.
Oh.
It's Brent Smith. It's Brent Smith, which is obviously my namesake, so I'm there with him.
Zach, do you feel a kinship with him?
Yeah. Obviously.
Is Zach the drummer?
No.
Oh, fuck. Is he the bassist?
He's a guitarist, yeah.
Ah, shit.
Barry is the drummer and Eric
Zach,
is another
if you're
guitarist.
listening to this, I think your namesake, you should just respec into lead vocalist.
He's actually got really good vocals as well. So and he does do back. They
That's
do
what I was
backing
picking up
vocals.
on.
You know the backing vocals. So it is from the other members of the band. So
mostly Zach there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I will send you the album because Brent and Zach did acoustic. That's who did the acoustic version of the sort of mainstream songs, and they are really good. And yeah, I think you'll actually enjoy them. That leads me on to my second question. What Post Malone song did Zach and Brent cover?
I feel like
I wasn't going to give you multiple choice, and now I feel like I should.
No, I feel like I
it's
can
fine.
guess this. Did you not tell us earlier? You told us that they covered. You told us that he covered.
I don't think I told you the actual name of the song, but I feel like you could be able to get it.
Okay,
And then you take first punt.
I'm gonna go for Rockstar.
That is such a good guess.
It's
Oh,
not that.
really?
It's
Oh, it's not that. Oh,
not that. Go
I
on,
was so
Louis.
sure as well.
I know it sounds really poetic. That would have been really like, you are a rock star. And
Yeah.
it isn't that one.
Is it better now?
It actually is.
Oh, Louis.
No
it's really good.
way!
It's really good. So yeah,
I knew it was
point to
going to be off
Louis.
Beer Bongs and Bentleys. Like if it was going to be any of the Post Malone albums, it was going to be his most kind of rocky.
Yeah.
But Rockstar would have been my first guess, to be fair, if Ronan hadn't have got
It's
it.
a good guess. It's a good guess because I was thinking that for my multiple choice, but then I decided not to. Decided to be mean. Third question is, what year did the band start up officially? Now I have said this year, but I'll give you multiple choice.
Oh,
So,
okay.
do you think you can get it?
No,
without
not
multiple choice?
anymore.
You wanted to do a closer two? Is that what's going on?
Oh, do you want closer to?
No, I just thought I knew it, but then I also thought I knew Rockstar.
I have said
so,
I have said it in this.
like, I'm happy to
this
guess it
speaking.
if Louis is. But Louis, you can go first because
2008.
2001.
2001 is correct.
No!
Yes.
Ah!
2008 was when two of the members joined, so you're not wrong with that point. But
That's why
actual-
there's definitely some dates floating around. Yeah,
you went. That's not far, but
I've
yeah,
gone into my mind palace and zoomed out and gone left.
That's what I was doing.
Go on.
you are tying at the moment. Tie. It's a tie. It's
tied up.
1-1.
Ooh.
No, I didn't actually give you. I was going to mention this one. Which city was the first city in the UK for Shinedown's newest album? Was it A, Cardiff, B, Nottingham, C, Glasgow, or D, London?
I feel like it can't be London. London feels too obvious. So then, would it make sense to start at the top of the country, like go to Glasgow? Louis, you can go first if you want.
I gave my year first. It's only fair that you.
I'm gonna go for Cardiff. Weirdly.
Oh, you little rogue! I'm gonna go for Glasgow.
It is Cardiff because
No!
I went there.
Oh, he
I went
knew.
there on their first one.
Wait, it turns out that Ronan's actually one of Shinedown's biggest fans, and
He was at the one in Cardiff.
he was there for their formation in 2001. And he goes to all their gigs.
Been playing dumb this whole time, and it's working. You suckers.
We had spoken. I swear I told you, Louis. I think I did, but it was back in November. So long
Yeah,
time ago. So
I have a very
you
short
won't
memory,
remember.
You know,
Okay,
gotta
final.
be more forgiven.
You're forgiven. Just.
Thank you.
Right, final question. What number album is Attention for Shinedown? Do you want multiple choice for this? Are you happy to
No,
guess?
I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
But Louis can go first.
I think it's wait, it came out kind of
2018 it came out.
2018, and they've been around since 2001.
Yep.
So there's got to be a fair. They've probably done a fair few. I want to. Oh man,
It's
I feel like
never-
whatever answer I give is. I'm gonna say it's their 6th album.
I'm gonna say the 7th.
Louis, you are absolutely correct. It's their
Yes!
6th album. Do you know what? You've tied, and I've got no tiebreaker questions.
Oh no, that's quite nice.
It's not.
I'm happy. I'm happy tying.
Are you
Are
happy?
you happy to settle on a
To be
draw on this
fair,
one?
your guesses have been really good. Both of you have been pretty good with the guesses.
There we go. That's
We're just honing
Not
in.
bad.
We just needed to warm up a bit.
what, over 12 episodes? What was the warm up?
I think you'll find, Ronan, actually, that we're on. This is our 16th.
Is
I
it
think.
actually? Whoa.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
This
It
is
flies.
16th. Oh, wow.
Let me just double check that.
Do you want me to double check? I'm going to have a
No,
look.
it's okay. I've got it up.
No.
Yeah, Jade Bird was our 15th, so
bad.
this will be our 16th.
Oh, we're not doing bad.
I'm happy to be your guys' 16th.
And
You're
that doesn't
welcome.
even include the mini-sode with Alex.
Cool,
So
wow.
technically, this is the 17th episode to come out. Well, if you count, it's the 17th bit of media to come out from us. The 16th, like, full episode when it eventually airs.
Well, I'm very excited for it. I'm very happy to be the 16th.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for the quiz, and thank you very much for the album pick. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. I will lend you my boyfriend sometime.
Yeah.
And give us a Nickelback special.
Give you
A 3-hour multi-parter.
I feel like you might actually get lots of people listening to that because it's controversial.
That does
is, to
feel,
be fair, yeah.
that does feel like if we're thinking
That
in
could
that,
be our
the
breakout
viral
episode.
mindset, you know, like the revisionist take on
Yeah.
Nickelback does seem ripe for viral kind of traction. Because we're just getting to a point as well
Yeah.
where it's like overdue. Like the jokes have long since passed. I think
Yeah,
there's something in this.
exactly.
Like the jokes happened about a decade ago. I feel like which means that it's just ready to happen. You know, somebody's going to come along, possibly your boyfriend.
I thought you meant we were overdue for some viral success.
Oh right. Well, that as well, Louis. Obviously.
You're like, the moment's just coming up. If we leave it any longer, that's it. Like, we're just in obscurity forever. Like, we've got to seize our moment now.
Sure, yeah.
Unfortunately, our next episode is with Alex.
Is it?
again,
Oh,
so I guess we'll just have to wallow in obscurity for even longer because he's not going to pick Nickelback.
I'll ask him to pick Nickelback. Just say, rogue it, pick Nickelback. Alex the one who likes war stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
War stuff.
Yes.
I say that's so vague.
Yeah, that
It's only
Yeah.
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 No, because we had this
War stuff.
discussion that he would be good friends with my boyfriend because my boyfriend.
Oh my god,
also
yeah.
loves war.
Alex and Danny would get on really well.
Maybe he needs to be introduced to Nickelback and then they'll be best friends. Just tell Alex on the next podcast.
We'll try and matchmake it.
I've
Incredible.
got a new best friend for you.
Shall I do the outro bit?
What's the outro bit?
I just spiel off some random bits and pieces,
Yeah, go on,
you know,
Louis.
the usual kind of
Makes it sound professional.
sound professional.
Oh,
Again,
you tell it. Yeah.
you know, the
do
little
the
bit at the
professional.
end.
All right, I'll keep quiet.
I swear like I had it written down somewhere, but I've lost it. So I'm just going to be like, thank you all.
Like, retweet.
Oh, how
and
dare you
things.
fucking just cutting over me. What the fuck?
No,
That's
it's
so
like
unprofessional.
no. It's like, you know, the YouTube subscribe, turn on notifications.
Notifications. That's
Sorry.
what you gotta
keep
do. You
going.
gotta be like, you know, hit that like button, give us a 5-star
Click the bell at
rating
the
on
top.
Spotify. That's
Get
the
your
thing.
notifications on.
Give us a rating on. Put your
Am
bloody
I?
notifications on. Come
I
on.
think my notifications are on. I think
Follow us,
not. Oh, no,
follow us
they're
on
not.
Instagram. Give us some likes. Give us
think-
some love. This is the call to action. I think usually I do it very kind of passively, and I'm like, oh, if you want to, but this
No,
time
you do
it's
it really professionally.
forceful.
I remember
like-
it now. Like, you're very professional. It's like when someone's doing like a brand sponsor thing and they're
Yeah.
like reeling off where they can find all of the links and stuff. Yeah,
in the
go
description,
ahead.
in the
Do it.
bio.
Do it.
Do
We've
it.
not just done it. Yeah,
That's
we
kinda
sort of
doing.
covered it in
Yeah.
a way. Like in a slightly more chaotic fashion.
Yeah.
I'm so
We've also
sorry.
got a email us at Gmail, more or something else entirely at gmail.com. Follow us at Instagram at more or something else entirely on Instagram.
Ruined.
But to Flora's surprise, we're on YouTube. We're also on SoundCloud, except it's kind of. But we are on Spotify and iTunes and all those other lovely podcast hosting places that all update themselves from the RSS feed. So yeah, find us wherever you like to listen. If you somehow got to the end of this and you're like, man, I hate where I listen to my podcast currently, I'm going to change. I think that's everything.
Yes.
I think that's everything.
The communists have nothing to offer but fat cheeks and eyeglasses and lying policemen. And the capitalists proffer napalm and money in green suitcases to the naked. And the communists create heavy industry, but the heart is also heavy.